Well, guess what? It's Tuesday
Yes, it
again, and
is.
that means it's the SC1 Factory Team Call where we're helping you focus, build your leadership, build leaders, and build dreams. So we're super excited to have you back here with us again this week. If you are not able to be on with us live, please remember that we do record these. We upload them to the Team Freedom Reigns YouTube channel. QR code on this slide takes you directly there. Make sure that you subscribe, ring the bell so that you get notifications when we upload new content because we're doing that a couple times a week right now. So please do that. And if you can join us live, would love to have you here with us. The Zoom ID and passcode are the same every single week. So plug it into your calendar and we love to see you here live. All right, guys. So can you believe today is the last day of March?
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it's crazy. So I am sure you're aware of the consumer appreciation, so customer and consultant appreciation sale that's going on here at LifeVantage, but you can get up to 30% off a significant amount of our products. And right now, through the end of the day, you can get the Mind Body System for 40% off. That's massive savings for that system. And tomorrow, guess what? It's April 1st.
Yes, it is. No fooling.
Wait, it is. Holy crap. April 1st. Yeah, no fool's jokes. No fool's jokes. But we always start the month out with a LifeVantage leader doing a presentation on how to start right with the right focus, helping you set some goals for the month, how to look at the last month and see where you want to be this month. And this month we've got, one of the top dogs, DAWG, Presidential Brandon Cunningham, that is going to be sharing with us tomorrow night. It is at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure that you and your teams hop on this call because it will be exactly the right way to start out the month of April. So tomorrow, April 1st. And then on Thursday, we will be bringing in the opportunity presentation. See how you can start your own micro franchise here with LifeVantage. It does start at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure that you're inviting your guests to join us because if we're not in conversation, we're not in business, right?
Right.
So we've got to be inviting and we need to have something to invite to. So we have this presentation every single Thursday night. The Zoom ID and passcode are the same every Thursday. The time's the same. Presenters are the same generally, and yet we are bringing in our hosts to do a little bit of the presentation as we go along here too. So please join us and invite your prospects. And then this is a big one today, and this is really important. If you are not registered for Momentum Academy, you have got to get it done today. Okay, this is where your breakthrough is going to happen. There's amazing presenters that are coming to do the presentations. We've got 3 general sessions. We have an amazing keynote speaker that's going to help get you into action. And there's going to be workshops. And by the way, the workshop presenters are amazing. So we've got like Robin Summers Smollett, we've got Tyler Daniels teaching us on the compensation plan, and we've got Marcy Steiner that's going to be telling us and giving us everything that we need to be able to invite with confidence. Okay, so make sure that if you are not registered, that you get registered because registration closes April 1st, which is tomorrow. If you're not registered by tomorrow, then registration is closed. So make sure that you get yourself and your teams all registered from Momentum Academy that is in Las Vegas. It is the 16th, 17th, and 18th. And again, you can register using the QR code here on this slide. All
Yes,
right,
yes, yes.
moving into this week's topic, we've been doing an amazing series on the activated entrepreneur. It is a 6-week series, and this is week 5. And so I'm excited about the topic this week. It's, helping leaders build leaders, which is where the duplication in this business happens, right? If you don't have duplication, then you just got another job. And ain't none of us want that,
Mm-mm.
right? So Dr. Dondee is here to be able to take lead again. And let's talk about this leadership multiplier.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I remember distinctly and I will never ever forget is that when I got involved in LifeVantage, which was my first rodeo in network marketing, I kept hearing all the time from the people at the top who are now the presidentials is that the way to sustain this business is that you develop leaders. and multiply leaders. In other words, you have leaders backed by leaders backed by leaders in all of the legs that qualify you for that rank. And what that simply means is you've got people who are teaching people who are teaching people how to build this business, leader backed by leader backed by leader. And then I heard Fry when we were doing, what was that thing, the summit?
Summit.
We were, I forget what it was called, but we were Vision Summit when
Right.
we were doing every month at corporate headquarters, talking with Fry. He talked about this a little bit more in depth, and he talks about when you have leaders backed by leaders backed by leaders, what you're looking for is a locker. And not like the locker we used in elementary and junior high and high school where we put a combo, we put our stuff in it, but a locker meaning someone who's locked in. And what does that look like? Somebody who is getting the benefits of the product. In other words, they are an activated entrepreneur, and their income, in other words, their monthly commission, is paying for all of their product plus paying them profit. So when they are profitable and they're getting the benefits of the products and they're excited, that person is locked in. That person becomes a locker. And as they grow and they mature in their leadership and they start to multiply in their leadership, that becomes attractive to other leaders who become lockers too. So when you've got leader backed by leader backed by leader in all of your legs, it becomes self-sustaining. And that is ultimately the dream of network marketing, whether it's talked about the 3 to 5 year plan or whatever it is that it ultimately becomes self-sustaining so that it is not a job. So you can at some point choose to allow it to keep flourishing while you reap the benefits. And where else in life do you actually get something like that other than the stock market? And that's really only if you do it properly and you guess properly and you follow all the proper metrics. But doesn't that take work? Anything in life that gives you prosperity like that becomes self-sustaining takes work. So why not put in the work? So the leadership multiplier in this activated entrepreneur series is literally builders build an income, but leaders build people. And when you can help someone become who they were created to become, and I kind of look at it in my favorite quote by Mark Twain is that the two most important days of your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. Everyone asks the question for the most part, why am I here? What is my mission? What is my purpose? And when you can build people, then it becomes such a blessing and such a source of gratitude for you. So because most people are saying, I'm trying to build this thing, right? But the leaders are, I'm developing people who build this, because that's really the secret sauce, is when you can build and promote and encourage and lift up people, they will go do the work that they were created and called to do. And that is, in essence, the leadership multiplier, is that people are building people. And that is where the sustainability and the momentum comes from. This shift from leading and multiplying that leadership literally changes everything.
Yeah, you know what? It's so much so, and why it's so significant right now is there's so many people that are feeling alone and not sure of a direction or what to do. And when you start to do something by yourself, it's a heavy load, right? Yeah. And so if we can start utilizing the language of team, support, mentorship, all of that sort of language, then we're able to help people understand even better.
Yeah, absolutely.
That they aren't alone and that we can lift it together.
And so just kind of think of it this week. This week changes everything. And if you just understand this concept, because if you stay a builder, and there's nothing wrong with builders, but if you stay a builder, you're always going to be working. But when you become a leader and you build other people and show them how to do it, and people are building people, then your impact multiplies, and it always will, and it will outlive you. In other words, your legacy after you're gone will continue to grow and multiply and hold you up in high reverence. So when you are building leaders who are building people, your impact multiplies and always will.
That's so good.
So this is the thing, producers versus leaders. Now, everyone wants producers, right? We want the people that are doing the work. They're putting in the time and effort, and they're duplicating, and it's actually growing. But that person must eventually become a leader, because the difference that changes your income is when producers become leaders of people. So the producers, what do? They focus on personal results. They're driven by activity, and the income is limited to their efforts. Now, we want people to be focusing on results. We want people to be growing. We want people to constantly be learning, because that's one of the things about life. No matter how old you are, if your brain is still learning things, you are still becoming more and more productive. But if you're focusing on the activity and you're focusing on the income on your own efforts, you're just looking at a portion of the equation, because leaders focus on developing the people beneath them. Now, isn't it important to create your own story and your own model of success to show people, this is what I've done, this is what I will help you do? But if that second part, this is what I will help you do, if that's not present, then it doesn't matter what you've done, because you're not showing people that they can do it too. They're just showing them what you've done. And that's really missing the mark. So focus on developing people, create duplication. Duplication is the most important variable here. And then income expands as duplication builds. But you can work hard or you can multiply your efforts, because when most people get stuck, it's because they're thinking, if I work harder, I'll win. But that's not the case. If they think differently, they ask, who can I develop? You put your effort into developing others while you're simultaneously developing you. And I've heard this about network marketing. It's the most amazing business model disguised as a personal development program, because you cannot grow as a human being if you're building a network marketing. If you're building a network marketing business, you are pretty much forced to grow as a human being. Mm-hmm. So growing yourself personally, becoming who you are all, how did the Army say it? Be all you can be, join the Army. So join the volunteer army of LifeVantage and be all you can be, and then turn around, drop the ladder down, and help other people come follow what you've done. That's really the missing point, is when producers become leaders, everything changes. So ask the question, who can I develop?
And, what's interesting is that, as Dondee was saying that about the Army, be all you can be, join the Army. It's like, really, though, you become all you can be when you stretch and step outside yourself to help someone else become all they can be. Right. So there's a whole new level of progression and growth that you get to experience.
Amen, sister.
Sorry, guys.
So how does duplication actually happen? Well, it's pretty simple. First of all, you've got to go out there and do it yourself. Simplistically, because the more complex you make it, the more unduplicatable it is. But you also have to have belief. Yeah. Belief is going to be what's driving everything. So duplication is simple, especially with our system. When you follow it, it's simple, but you have to have the belief. So duplication does not come from more information. More information, more information, more information. You get overloaded and overwhelmed. It does not come from more training. You can train yourself right out of business. I mean, you have all the training, but there's no action that comes from it. And people want to be on trainings, but they've got to do something with it and have permission to go do something with it. And it does not come from more complexity. It comes from simplicity, less training, less information once you understand the basics, because it's inherent in the system. Duplication does come from simple systems, because simple in its approach is simple in its duplication, because it's simple to follow. Also, clear actions. What is expected of me, and how do we build people who build this business? And belief comes through momentum. So when you have belief, the more momentum you have, the more belief you have, the more confidence you have, because you're seeing it work in real time. Because people don't duplicate what you say, they duplicate what you do, good, bad, or indifferent. And I remember as a kid, when our parents would tell us not to do something that they were doing, it didn't really make much sense, especially like back in the 70s when I was growing up. Both my parents smoked and told us not to smoke. And it's like, well, why are you do as I say, not as I do? That's kind of silly. It doesn't even make sense. So it made us curious. Well, if you're not wanting us to do it, but you're doing it, what are we missing that you're telling us? And it just doesn't make sense. So don't duplicate that in life. Don't duplicate it in your business. Duplicate what you do and do it simplistically. Do it with belief and conviction, and show people how their hands can be held in the process. So this week, like I said, everything changes, because if you stay a builder, then you'll always be working. But when you become a leader, your impact multiplies.
Yes.
The leadership formula, it's not that hard. You just find people, develop people, and multiply people. So who are you looking for? Find the people who are hungry, not in their diet, their stomach's not growling. They're eager and committed for change, for better. I remember when we first got involved in this, Jason Domingo, who was our what do they call the master distributor at the time, said you've got to find people that are hungry. They need this, they want this, they're coachable, and they're willing to change. They've got a burning desire for change and for more. Those are the people you're looking for. Well, how do you find them? You got to be in tune for what they look like, how they talk, where they show up, what they say. And social media gives us obviously access to all kinds of people like that. So does it in our social life. You just got to be looking. And coachable. How do you know if someone's coachable? If you tell them to do something and they simply follow it, or they're asking questions. The biggest way to determine if someone is coachable, how many questions are they asking you? If your people aren't asking you questions, they're probably not coachable. Yeah. The people that are asking the most questions are the most hungry, they're the most coachable, and they're showing up consistently. That is your diamond in the rough. Run with that person. I mean, literally run with that person. And then you develop them, plugging them into the system for the trainings, for example, for the webinars that we do on Thursday nights, the opportunity meetings, plug them in. Keep it simple. The ITT system, invite, tool, team, and then modeling whose behavior? Ideally yours. So if you want to have a leadership multiplier, be the leader and then let them model your behavior. Because what you don't need is for people to follow things that are not working for you. And because that doesn't multiply them. So how do you multiply them? Help them find their people and then repeat the process. So who are their people? People in their sphere that are looking for what we have, the solutions we have with our amazing Evolve compensation plan and the solutions that we have with our amazing dietary supplements. Right now they're called that, but they're truly activators because there's no subset of distinction. But when that all changes, it's even going to be a greater multiplier. So help people find the solutions that we offer and then repeat the process over and over again, because you don't need 100 leaders. You only need a few who build a few, who build a few, who build a few. That's where the duplication and leadership formula comes from. Find, develop, and multiply.
Well, let's see. If you help 1,000, make 1,000. How much is 1,000 times 1,000?
A lot.
I think it's 1,000,000, isn't
It's
it?
1,000 times. Yeah.
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 And we need 1,000,000 in volume to be presidentials, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, let's just go out and find people that want to make an extra $1,000 a month and develop them into someone that can help others make $1,000 a month, because it's not a matter of us finding 1,000 people to make $1,000. It's a matter of us finding those few that are hungry, that are coachable. And I would even say in the coachable aspect is you give them assignments and they do them, right? It's like they may in the beginning not feel like they're worthy to raise their hand. And so sometimes your most hungry and coachable won't necessarily be the most verbal.
Right.
So be open and be watching for the activity that people participate in to help identify them. So I love this.
To that point, sometimes when I think when people look at the income disclosure statement and they look down that column of monthly income, maybe they start seeing those bigger numbers and they get intimidated.
Yeah.
They think I can't do that.
I'm not the person that can do that.
I'm not the person who that's good for them. I just don't see myself as that person. But I don't know if anybody would exempt themselves if asked the question, what would it be like to make just $500 a month to $1,000 a month? Could you see yourself doing that? I think you're going to get everybody go, yeah, I could totally see myself doing that. What does it take? So if it's 1,000 people in your entire organization that are making $1,000 commission every month, you are a presidential. And I just kind of look at this in perspective that last weekend, we attended Maria Williams' Celebration of Life. And they were talking about that in her business, there's 100,000 people that are being blessed and impacted by her business. Well, if you look at 100,000 people, that means that they're making less than $100 on average a month. And so what if we just quadrupled that or 10x'd that and shortened the amount of people? So if you had 2,000 people that were making $500 a month, or 1,000 people making $1,000 a month, you're a presidential. And so I just kind of looked at those numbers and we could boil it down to simplicity. Let's help people make between $500 and $1,000 a month. That's going to get them excited. And then let's just duplicate that. And that's not you creating 1,000 in your organization, creating 1,000 people to make $1,000 a month, or 2,000 people to make 500 a month. You're still presidential. It just doubled the numbers and halved the outcome. So the key is people can see themselves. And then as belief happens and consistency happens and they start getting more and more confidence, then expand their vision. But start, and I'm just thinking for myself, how am I gonna, for the people who don't see themselves becoming a presidential? And I was surprised that not everybody who sees this wants to become a presidential, because very few did. And I was like, I don't understand that. But how about make an extra $500 a month? That would change so many people, especially now when we've got people worried about how much gas prices are. If they had an extra $500 a month, I bet it would fill all their gas tanks and they wouldn't have to worry about it. But let's just focus on the reality of this. The leadership formula: find, develop, and multiply, by keeping it real, y'all.
So I mean, think about it this way, guys. What is your goal, right? I mean, what is your goal? Do you want to be a MC1? Do you want to be, I mean, MC1 has 10,000 in organizational volume, right? Or do you want to be an MC2 with 20,000 in organizational volume? Well, go down and just figure out, okay, so how many, let's see, SC2s do I need to help build? Or how many SC1s? Because we're focused on SC1, right? That's 2,000 in volume. And those people are making on average $314 a month. How many of those people do I need to help make $314 a month to be able to hit that 10,000 or to be able to hit that 20,000? Well, if it's divisible by 2,000, you know that you need 5 to help make $315 a month for you to hit that MC1, or you need 10 to hit that MC2, right? Or if it's that $500 a month that we're shooting for, that's the senior consultant, and that's 3,500 in volume, organizational volume. So you just go and you find out whatever goal you have and divide it, but by whatever the volume is that the people that want to make $500 a month, which is about 3,500 in organizational volume, how many of those do you need? Right? So that's just how you start to forward cast. And it's like, okay, so I need this many people to be able to be making this much money a month. And now I just need to go and find those people, right? And help them make that money. But that's a way for you to be able to break down your goals to be able to get where you want to be by helping the amount of people that you need to be helping develop into leaders to hit that goal. And then help them do the same thing for whatever goal that they have.
Yeah. And as you were saying that, I was looking at the average time it takes to become an SC1, 5 months. So what if we just made it a desire and put it out there that we want to help 5 people become SC1 in the next 5 months and make an extra $314 into your household? Because I mean, literally tomorrow is the start of the 4th month of the year so far. 3 of the 5 months has already gone by.
Yeah.
But are you making $300 more a month in your own job? Mm-hmm. Did you get that raise? Mm-hmm. Let's just, I mean, the more simple
thing too, because we're getting ready to move into, it's crazy that I'm going to say this, getting close to the summer months. And I know all you New Englanders and Massachusetts peoples are anxious for summer to come. But we will be getting, in the next 5 months, close to coming out of summer, which means a lot of people's schedules open up during the summertime. I know up in the Northeast, sometimes you get even more busy during the summer, but you're also around more people, right? And more people that are active and out there and wanting to go, go, go. So your influence is going to be broadened by the amount of people that you're around. So this is the perfect time to be having this conversation and determining what your goals are and breaking it down the way that we're breaking it down right now, okay? Yep. So that is a great way to get started, and then setting that goal for the 5 months, which will take us through. I mean, if we're ending out March right now, that would be taking us ending out August, right?
Yep.
So, hey, let's go for it, right?
It's time to go back to school.
Yep.
Or some. All right, let's get going. So the identity shift, what needs to happen for you to say, now I'm a leader? That really depends on you. What is it going to take? So what we need to do is, leaders don't chase people. They don't try to convince them. They don't try to control them. What they do is they guide them, they develop them, and they empower them. Because when someone feels guided, they feel developed and nurtured and supported, and they feel empowered, why would they not want to continue that trajectory? But if they feel like they're being chased, oh my gosh, and they see you coming, they go the other direction, or they see the text and they block you, or you wonder why they're not responding. Maybe they unfriended you, or whatever the case, because you're trying to convince them. Leaders don't do that. What they do is they guide, develop, and empower people. Now, why don't they do that? Because they don't have to. That is really because they've got a belief. They've seen it. They've had the consistency of it, and they're not acting desperate. I remember listening to Seth Campbell talk about that when in the beginning of this business, when you're first growing the business, when you do need people, you are dependent on them if you want to achieve their goals or your goals, but you can't let them know that. Be separated from the outcome. Act like you've already got your rank in ranks beyond that, so that you're not going into this desperate, or what I remember, I think it was Marina Simone said, don't have commission breath. So the key is that you guide, you develop, and you empower them, because we're not building a business. Ultimately, what we're doing is we're building people who build the business. And when people feel seen, they feel guided, they feel appreciated, they feel supported, and they feel empowered, they go for it. And a lot of people in the world right now do not feel any of those things. They feel scrutinized under a microscope, kind of like, or a magnifying glass with the sun. They feel like they're being burned. Like I used to burn leaves with a magnifying glass when I was a kid. People don't want that. That's what they're being chased, or you're trying to convince them, or you're trying to control them. They don't like that. They will repel constantly. So guide them, develop them, and empower them.
Oh,
What happened?
and the keyboard disconnected.
So the activation challenge, here's how you can become a multiplier. So this week, identify 2 potential leaders that you're going after. And what did we talk about?
Not going after. We don't go after people.
Yeah, you're going, right. That you have set
Hunters
in your sights that they are going to become your consultant. They are wanting something different. They want to believe in something different, but you see them and you identify them as potential leaders. Put them on your list and extend the invitation. Start the one-on-one conversation. And then plug them in to the ITT system, the invite, the tool, the team, because that's where they're going to feel supported, they're going to feel led, they're going to feel guided, and they're going to feel empowered. And then help them take action. That's the thing about this business. Without action, nothing happens. And then start developing your first leaders. It's going to give you confidence. You're going to start feeling conviction. You're going to start feeling that the results are there, and you're going to start believing better in yourself, because this is kind of where the business changes forever. It's not when you do more. It's when you help others start to become who they were created to become because of you. And then they're going to turn around with incredible gratitude and then share the gift that you've given them. Because builders create income, but leaders create a legacy. And that was one of the biggest take-home things from Maria Williams' Celebration of Life, is the legacy that she left. And the people that were there to walk up, get on that mic, and just share how grateful they were. Strangers oftentimes have turned into family because she extended that invitation. So think about that.
I would say it was strangers every single instance that turned into family in Maria's circumstance, because it was her next door neighbor that introduced this to her, right? And they started out as strangers. So it's an amazing opportunity to build your legacy.
All right, so become the multiplier. This is the challenge. So if we build people, we never run out of growth. If we only build ourselves, we eventually hit a ceiling.
And we get exhausted.
Yeah. And we never feel like it's enough.
No.
And so this week, let's just remove the ceiling and let's go out and build people. Because think about this. If your goal is to build yourself, when you can build other people, your conviction about building yourself is going to grow stronger and stronger. It's just amazing. So where your business changes forever is not when you do more. It's when you start helping others do more. And then they will look back and thank you for it, because of you, your invitation, you're starting the conversation, you getting them plugged into the system, you showing them there's a team of support and encouraging them and empowering them and supporting them. That's what it takes. That's what removing the ceiling looks like.
Yeah. Amazing, amazing. I loved this so much. Week 5 of the Leadership Multiplier and the Activated Entrepreneur. Next week will be week 6 and closing out the series. So make sure that you're here with us. Invite your friends, invite your, this is even something, it's like these calls, you can invite prospects to these calls because it gives them an insight into the community and the people and the support, right?
Yep.
So thanks for being here with us, guys. We appreciate you.